What was going on in my life was I was really suffering for post-virus about 7 months and basically lost most of my life vitality. And to be honest with you, when Holly told me about it, I didn't want to hear about another supplement, to be honest, because I was already on a plethora that weren't working. But 3 days later, I did hear a voice. I heard God tell me, you better listen. And so I did.
Wow. Okay, well, those voices are some of the most powerful ones. I hope we can all stand by and go, okay, I got the clue, I got the hint, because I hear if we don't listen, we just get a little bigger stick banging us across the back of the head. There you go. So with that in mind, tell us a little bit. So if one of your main challenges, if it seems like was the COVID experience for you, you want to talk a little bit about that and what happened for you and maybe is kind of some of the steps that you were able to kind of restore yourself here a little bit and how this black oxygen kind of played a role for you.
Okay, so I'll start out with the beginning. I don't even know how I got it because I live alone, I quarantine, I social distance, and here I was getting sick, and I don't get sick. I have a very strong immune system most of my life. So this was kind of odd. At first I thought, I was getting just like aches and pains in my body. And I thought, well, the aging process, whatever. But it progressed over a week very rapidly to a high fever. And personally, me, I've been holistic my whole life. I don't do medications ever. So I figured I could ride this out with a bunch of supplements and, good drinks and stuff. But John, it got worse. And by the third week, I'll be really honest with everybody, I was literally on my deathbed. One person in my life knew about that, but I wouldn't go to the hospital because I've always been that way since I was brought into this world. And that's just me. I'm not saying people shouldn't. That's just me. So when I finally came through the other side, it was also through a prayer because the pain was so bad in my body, John, and all I was doing was sleeping the entire day. Then I said a prayer and I said, listen, I'm okay if you're going to take me, but then take me or give me the cures or give me the solutions. So the next morning I woke up and I was laughing. I said, okay, I guess I still have a mission here, right? And I opened up my email because I have a naturopath background. And there was an email in there of some things doctors were doing with mega dosing of D3, even though I was on a high dose. So to be honest with you, I took that first. And I had about a 50% improvement that day. And I was grateful for that. But for the next 7 months, I still couldn't function, John. I still needed multiple naps of the day. This is not me. I've never been a napper. And through this whole process, I actually put 30 pounds on, which is the highest weight I've ever been. And I got depressed too, because I couldn't get it off no matter what I was doing.
Wow. So that took you down this road. You heard about black oxygen. You got on the product. What was that shift for you? So I know there's a couple different questions to unpack here. Number one is, how much did you take? How often? Did you start slow? Did you start fast? But what was your beginning journey with the black oxygen product?
So I got really excited when it showed up, like most people do, and I decided to take a quarter of a teaspoon in the water, drank it up, and I love facial masks, so I went and did the facial mask, didn't even realize I was kind of overloading my system on day one, but I had no negative reactions to it at all. And by 5 o'clock that day, I had been working all day long. That was the first I was all day long, for months. And I looked down at my dog. He's looking at me like, Ma, are you going to feed me? And I looked at the time and I was like, oh my God, we didn't nap today. So that was huge. Absolutely huge.
Fantastic. So I know that I'm going to put your picture back on the screen here for a moment because well, you sent them to me. So
I know. Okay. I'm fine with it.
So I want to talk about your hair and I mean, I know that you're doing some face masks here. You got a lovely comparison there. So tell me about your hair, your face, and this is a new one. We haven't shown this before, but the belly mask. So tell me about how did you come up with this? It's very fascinating.
It's my spa background, John, But if you look at the before and after picture, I had rapidly aged during COVID. I never had that look. When I saw that, I was like, oh my God, I look like my grandmother or somebody, So that was like a real shocker for me because I just couldn't believe how rapid the aging process was in that month. And obviously the after picture was taken 1 week after being on the boob, just 1 week. And it restored and rejuvenated me.
Yeah. It looks like there's a glow coming back there. So what's going on with your hair? It looks like
well, my hair was falling out. And the fact that I was putting on weight so rapidly, I wasn't even eating. I was doing, green drinks and supplements, but I had zero appetite. So I know my metabolism, thyroid, whatever, got severely affected and my hair started to fall out. I actually bought a wig. I hate wigs, okay? But I was embarrassed because I had the one on the top that you can see here. I had another one real big in the back of my head, but now I have hair, and obviously it's growing and thick. Now, it didn't change the color of my hair. I just decided one day I didn't want to look like that old picture. Not that I didn't like silver hair. It was great. But when I started to feel rejuvenated, I wanted to feel that way on the outside too.
Wow. Well, those pictures actually say an awful lot. Now, I have to admit, I haven't seen a lot of belly masks here before, but this looks like a pretty big difference between day 1 and 4 weeks. I mean, how often did you do that?
Well, I came up with the idea because I used to own a massage school and I used to teach spa treatments. And I thought, well, I have all this extra boo after I was putting it on my face. I'm not going to waste it. So I started rubbing it on my belly thinking, will it lighten the stretch marks I've had for 15 years? And, to my surprise, it was working. And I was using it about twice a week. When I decided to take the picture, and it's not a filter on, it's just different lighting in this house, but it did lighten those scars after all these years of having that pregnancy stretch mark. And I tried firmers and everything, but that was the result of it. No, I didn't do a hair mask. I know a lot of people have asked me that, and no, I did not, because I didn't even think of it. I didn't put it in my shampoo, and I know some people do. So it was from the oral consumption. And I also believe, John, that putting it on your face, it's going just direct right up and through here too.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you on that. So doing the face mask, the belly mask, you've been taking it internally. How about bathing? Have you been doing the full-on bath as well?
I actually today did a mask around my legs, wrapped it in cling wrap, saran wrap, to do a cellulite, cleanse. Then after that was on for about 15, 20 minutes, it was on my belly, it was on my face. I ran the hot water, put Epsom salt in there and sat in there with everything. And yes, I've done several baths and a few foot baths.
So let me ask you, I mean, from your kind of, spa therapy type of background, I'm really curious about the poultice, because is the poultice and putting it directly on skin, how much different is that from just internal consumption or even bathing in it? Because my thought is, okay, I'm in the bathtub, it's everywhere. Is that different from a poultice? Does that have a different process, or is there a different mechanism involved there? I'm just curious because I don't really.
Well, our lymph system is right underneath our skin. So if we're applying it directly here, we're affecting it pretty immediately, okay, at a more concentrated level, than just soaking in it. Now, they do mud baths too in spas and stuff. I've paid hundreds for them actually. And this didn't cost me that much. So yeah, you're still going to get that effect. But as soon as you put it directly on the skin in that concentration, it's going right into your lymph system and it's working faster to detox you too.
Okay, that makes sense to me. So when you're taking the product now, I know that there's kind of a therapeutic level maybe of consumption. There's, I kind of look at it this way, whether someone's taking it kind of preventatively or prophylactically, maybe they're taking it for performance, maybe they're kind of oriented toward, I've got a real imbalance I'm dealing with and I need kind of a therapeutic level. What has been your kind of range of dosage, and have you just kind of up to a certain level and stayed there? Do you go back? Do you manipulate that a little bit?
I do manipulate it a bit. I'll admit the first month I stayed on the 1/4 teaspoon for a week. And probably by the third week, I decided to do a second one. But like I said, I was doing all the masks too. And then in the second month, I thought, well, let me see if I can handle a little bit more. So I increased slowly. And then last month there was a full moon. And I don't know if you know this, John, but I found out that on the full moon, do you know parasites do their breeding?
I think I have actually heard that. I think I tucked that little piece of knowledge away for some reason.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
So what I did with my team is I said, let's do a full moon parasite cleanse. So I helped prep them a few days prior, to do some hot water in the morning with lemon and uncongest the liver channels, because if we're trying to get everything moving, we also have to clear out the liver. And some people use teas and herbal remedies, which is fine. And then we did some turmeric apple cider ginger shots. We did a few of them as we got closer to the full moon, and we increased our dosages. So we slammed our system a little harder at a therapeutic level. And yeah, some of us were having detox symptoms. That's obvious, but that's what we wanted. We wanted this to come out. And then one of the gals, she started telling us about, you love my language. Thank you. She started telling us
Gloria.
Doing fulvic and coffee enemas. And I was like, well, that's interesting. So several of us started to do that when we got a little stuck, because as we got closer to the full moon and the parasites didn't want to die off, and I don't know how many people have experienced this, but you get a little bloated and maybe hardened in your stomach a little bit. Mm-hmm. I have come to realize that is when those parasites, they're holding on, like they want everything. They want your hydration, your food, everything. And so for me, that was one of the symptoms I noticed. So then I was like, okay, this is happening again, plus with the higher dosages. And so I did the enema based on Karen's suggestion. And man, I got to tell you, the biofilm that came out, unbelievable. I'll be honest, I saw some candida stuff. I've done colonics years ago, so there's not a lot of the other little things that people see that, haven't taken care of their body. But it was amazing to see all of that biofilm and the candida pockets coming out.
Wow. I don't know if I could necessarily identify that, but that sounds very, very, I know people are going to be asking, I need this full moon cleanse, Gloria. I think we may have to.
We're going to do it again.
We may have to run a cleanse group on every full moon, because
yes.
I think there's something very interesting in that. And, I think a lot of people deal with that. People don't know. When I talk about the mystery illness, I think this is a part of that mystery part that people don't know what's sucking their energy or creating addictions or creating cravings or all these different things that we experience, with parasites and other things along that line. So absolutely amazing. So you're taking a couple of doses a day. You take it all in the morning. Do you spread it out over the course of the day?
Okay, good question. I take it, Karen. I take it in the morning. I have actually backed off a little bit this week. I wanted to see how my energy level was, because I also believe in when I take supplements, there's times I stop everything to help my body start to regulate on its own. So I cut back. And I'm going to just see how that goes. But then today, when I did the cellulite wrap and the belly wrap and the face mask, I'm going to be honest, guys out there, you better super hydrate when you do that, because I started to get woozy after about 15 minutes and I went, uh-oh. But as soon as I drank the water, I was fine.
Fantastic. Well, I think there's so many, you're really highlighting a lot of uses for the product that I don't think people have probably thought about. And it's one of the things that's so flexible. So obviously we have the powder, which to me is the most flexible product. We have the tabs, we have found a way to put the fulvic into coffee. It sounds to me like the powder is the product you probably use the most. Have you used the other products? Is the powder just your all-time favorite?
Well, I did use the other products because people were asking me, so I figured, okay, I'll try it. The tablets are convenient, obviously. I just take half, I swallow it with water, but I am a powder person. The versatility with the powder, I'm spoiled. And then I don't usually, drink dark Italian roast because I don't like it, but I figured I'd try it. And I thought it was interesting when I first saw that the company was promoting coffee. I'm like, why would they do that?
Yeah.
And then I figured out why, which I'll tell you all in a second. But I actually did a video for my group on preparing it all and tasting it, because I also have a background as a barista, so I'm a snob with coffee.
Uh-oh. You and I, we're going to have to go out, because I am a very big coffee snob.
Oh, my God, right?
Please continue, though. I want to hear
that. Yes. Because then you go to certain places and you're like, this is disgusting. But I was really surprised. There was no burnt taste. There was no acidity, which is what the fulvic is doing. It's raising the alkalinity for coffee, So it was smooth. And I was like, whoa, Now I don't have a Keurig, so, I know it comes in Keurig cups, but I cut it open and poured it in. But you could also take the powder and put it in your coffee too.
Sure, sure. Well, that's the way to do it. I'm kind of like you. I went out and got a very expensive espresso machine just so I could get it just right. So I totally understand that. Well, a lot of people are listening tonight, Gloria, and people will be listening to the replay here and hearing this information. And, one of the things that happens, people, we tell our stories. And I think that you have kind of a lifetime of kind of thinking. You said to me earlier, said, well, I've been organic since I was born, and I was just thrilled to meet the first organic human on the planet. No, I'm just teasing there a little bit. But the point is that you've made it a habit of having more of those types of decisions in your life. And have you noticed with other people, I'm just curious, when in taking the product, that, when we start to feel better, isn't there some truth to, we just tend to make a few better decisions kind of gradually, a little bit at a time, and it really can change. It doesn't always have to be, it's not always for everybody the flip of a switch. It's a gradual thing.
Absolutely. And I actually like to see it gradual, because sometimes if people get this big boom at first and then they fall back down, they're like, it doesn't work. So that's one of the things I like about this. It is a gradual effect. And then it gives people hope. What's going to happen tomorrow? Like the second day with me, all of a sudden, I edit books, and I was editing a story for somebody, and literally the brain fog just lifted, and I didn't even know I had brain fog. So now my mood is shifting, right? And I'm not in that quote unquote depressed mood I was having for months. So yeah, I was becoming motivated, inspired. I wanted to do more things. And so I see that in other people too, John.
Wow. So, people, as they listen to the information, they're wondering if it's going to have the same kind of amazing benefits on them that it had on you. So there's kind of two questions here that I want to kind of finalize with. And the first one is expectations. People hear about a product, they hear someone's story, and they start to ratchet up their expectations. And one of the things that I try to help people manage, and I'm sure that you do too, and that is that, we all are on our own speed, right? Our bodies are trying to figure out what their own priority is. So how do you kind of nurture yourself or even others? Because I know that you're out advocating this product. So how do you help manage people's expectations in terms of what their return or benefit is going to be from the product?
Well, John, I think everybody's looking for that big thing to happen really fast, and it doesn't. Okay, most of us are going to experience like an energy shift or sleep better within, I think, the first week. Okay, so I try to tell people, pay attention to the subtleties, like the tracking form that you guys come up with that's in our back office. It's really good to remind people to check that off, because some people will say to me, oh, I don't want to even tell anybody yet. It's not perfect enough basically for them. But then I see their before and after pictures, and I'm like, are you crazy? You look like a brand new person. Put this out there, So the expectation is usually on that person, that they are waiting for that grandiose thing, when it could be as simple as, I made it through the day without a nap. That's powerful.
So what do you tell somebody who's sitting there going, I wonder if this will work for me. Should I try it? What am I risking here? Am I going to have a detox reaction? What do you tell somebody who's hearing this information tonight? What word of encouragement might you share with them to get them to see what this is going to do for them individually?
Well, the one thing I can tell everybody is I taught physiology years ago, and our body is designed for self-healing, rejuvenation, and regeneration. And every organ that you have needs certain minerals to function. Just like you need oil in your car and gas in your car and brakes in your car, it's the same thing with us. We need different things for different organs to function. So if somebody has been ill long-term, well, yeah, they're going to have to see what it's going to affect first. And sometimes it's not always on the outside. If you've been sick for 20 years, don't expect a miracle overnight.
For sure.
So, that's a big part of it. And I can't guarantee any results because I don't know what's going inside. But again, it's like, if you're patient, okay, if you know that you've been sick for 10 years, then give this 10 days at least, to see if there's some subtle change, because the body responds amazingly. And I know my metabolism was really shut down, and I'm wishing that it would boot a little faster, to be honest with you, because I want to get this weight off. But with all the other things happening to me, I'm excited about that. It took 3 months for me to lose 10 pounds when I could have years ago lost it in 10 days, right? 3 months. And that was kind of upsetting at first, but then I realized, wait a minute, my hair grew back in, my energy, my motivation, my skin is amazing. The bloat is gone. I had a second belly there. If you looked at those pictures, you could see the before, and literally the one next to it is like a week after that. I already had a waistline coming back. Unfortunately, I didn't measure myself, but I see, and my clothes tell me. So, just be patient, people, with yourself. Nurture yourself through this process. Not everybody is going to have a quick result. Some people are going to go through some detoxes because they've never done it before. So when something comes out, don't freak out. Flush it down the toilet. Just flush it. People are like, oh my God, I got to look and cut it with the fork. And if that's your thing, go for it.
Yeah. Well, Gloria, what an absolute blessing. I think everybody really enjoyed your information tonight, learned a lot. I did too. And I really appreciate having you on tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I bet it's a continuing story. So we're going to have a recap here somewhere down the road.
Yeah. And I just want to say, if you know anybody that is dealing, with it out there, this is definitely going to help build their immune system and help with that recovery process. So John, thank you so much.
Oh, my absolute pleasure. You have a wonderful evening, and thank you again. That was the wonderful and beautiful Gloria Coppola from North Carolina. And you get to see these pictures as a lasting little image here to know that it does do incredible things. And it's amazing. One of the things I always like to share as we kind of wind things up is this is Mother Earth's original superfood store. This is the bounty of the earth. This is the gift that the earth has to give back to us. And we are good stewards of her, and she is very helpful to us. And so we want to encourage you to dip into this original superfood store. With that being said, some of the other benefits, and I think that Gloria has touched on these tonight, but reducing inflammation, increasing that cellular regeneration, because we can actually nourish the cell and we can detoxify the cell in the same process. Balancing hormones from all these wonderful plant-based phytohormones, heavy metal chelating, helping to get and bind those toxins at the cellular level, and of course, adaptogenic, kind of filling in the holes of the things that our body truly needs to seek balance. One of the things I'll leave you with is my little definition of optimal health. And I think it involves mind, it involves body, spirit, and health. In my big view is that if we can get through life with energy, vitality, mental sharpness, and having a little bit left over at the end of the day to take on your next challenge, well, you're in great shape. Because that we don't want to end up rolling into bed, rolling home at night after work and just have to go straight to bed and go do the whole thing again. We want a little time to be creative, to be collaborative, to do something in our community, in our environment. So that to me is a great definition of optimal health, whether you are drinking it, whether you're bathing in it, whether you're doing the facials, the coffee, or like Gloria, all of the above, and then some. 3, 4, 5 more things that she's doing with it. It's fun to experiment, and you really laid that out beautifully for us tonight. Gloria. So as we look at where we go from here, well, let's celebrate a new chapter in your health journey. If you're ready to take your health to the next level, we're glad that you are here tonight to hear a live story, an awesome story, an encouraging story, one that can be part and parcel your story. So thank you for being with us tonight, Gloria. Many thanks to you tonight, and we'll see you again